Hi guys, my name is Wayne Quinton and I want to welcome you to this video on holiday let, where I just want to talk to you about the real profit in holiday lets. Now you might say, what do you mean by that, Wayne? Well, they make £30,000 a year, don't they? Aren't they the real profits? Well, there are 4 profit levers, if you remember. In my other teachings, there are 4 profit levers in any property strategy that you're running. And I want to get really clear and help this land with you. I want this property to land with you so you understand how profitable holiday lets are. Okay, so let's look at the first profit lever. Okay, I don't know if you remember, but what's the first profit lever? It's the ability to buy property for discount. Now, how many times does this pay you? Once. You only get to buy for discount once, yes? You can then refinance in a couple of years and draw out 75% of that discounted equity, but you can only do it once. So for holiday lets, to be honest with you, it's not a key driver. For money with a holiday let property, I'll pay the asking price if I have to. I'm a tight Lancashire man. I always want discount. I like to get the best discount I can. But if I can't get the discount with all that, I'll still buy it, to be honest. If it's £10,000 over what I think it's worth, I'll probably still buy it if it's the right property and it meets the right rules. So discount isn't a main driver because it only pays me once. Remember the other 3 profit levers. And if this is the first time you've heard me talk about the profit levers, other 3 profit levers pay you forever. So what's the second profit lever? The second profit lever is for cash flow. Okay? And this pays you forever. It pays you this year, pays you next year, pays you year after that. It pays you years after you're dead. It pays you your surviving children, it pays your grandchildren and your great grandchildren, right? It pays you forever. And let's say it's £30,000 a year. Okay. Now, what's the third profit lever? Well, the third profit lever is capital growth. Okay, capital growth. Now, capital growth is property going up in value. How often does it pay you? It pays you forever, because over time property always goes up, and on average for the last 90 years plus now, 7.9% per annum of growth on average. That includes the drops, the downturns, the flat periods. That's the average. Yes, average. Now, what's the fourth profit lever? It's the ability to refinance. The ability to have a property go up in value and go back to the bank and say, it's worth more now. Can I borrow 75% of the new value, please? And release some more money back out. That's either back in your pocket now for you to spend on whatever you want, or back in your pocket to buy more investment properties and grow your property portfolio. Okay, how often? Forever. Yes. How often? Forever. Yes, forever. And to get number 4 to work, number 2 and 3 both have to be at the table. With holiday lets, definitely cash flow at the table, and there'll be equity growth at the table. Okay. Now, some of the holidays, if you're buying them in a more remote place, in a village, there's a risk that prices don't go up just as smoothly as the national average goes up. Over time, they'll go up the same, but they'll might be a bit more lumpy. Okay. If your local factory shuts down in a village, for example, I tell you not to buy to buy in a village, because if a local factory shuts, 100 people lose their jobs. It affects the prices in the village for the next 10 years. Okay, so you run the risk if you're in a village or a smaller area. If you're in a seaside town and it's not a village, not so much at a risk. Okay, but I just want to be clear on that. But there is a risk there. But let's have a look at this, right? Let's now, we understand these profit levers. Let's look at a holiday let, and let's look at it over the next 40 years. Let's assume we're going to live for another 40 years, okay? So we go and buy this holiday let. Just let me change my colours. When we buy the holiday let, we get nothing for discount because we pay full price, right? But over the next 40 years at 30 grand a year, what's that going to make? It's going to make you 1.2 million of cash flow. If you do the work, people come and say it's hard finding these holiday lets. I'm like, yeah, it's going to make you 1.2 million pounds, but you won't have if you don't find one. Is it worth a few more weeks looking? Yes. Right, so if it's hard, I don't care. In fact, I like it. It's hard, otherwise everyone's going to be doing it all the time. Right, 1.2 million pounds. That's why I want another 8 this year, because it'll make me another 10 million pounds. The work I do this year will set me up to make 10 million pounds over the next 40 years, cash flow alone. Yep, cash flow alone. Now, capital growth. Let's say you go buy a holiday let, right? And you buy it for 400 grand. And this is not a trick question. They double in value on average every 8 years. To make it easy for the maths, let's say it's every 10 years. So 10 years from now, how much is it going to be worth? The property you bought is now worth £800,000. 10 years after that, 1.6 million. For those of you sat there going, this can't be the case, think about the last 20-30 years. The house you're in now, what's it worth? Right, 10 years after that, 3.2 million. 10 years after that, by year 40, the house is worth 6.4 million pounds. This is a property that you've just bought for 400 grand. So it's gone up in value 6 million pounds. 6 million pounds. So you've 1.2 million of cash flow plus your 6 million. It's made you 7.2 million pounds. If it takes a bit of work to find it, is it worth it? Yes. It takes a bit more work to find it. Is it still worth it? Yes. It's going to make you 7.2 million pounds. Even if I half it, it's going to make you 3.6 over the next 40 years. Divide it by 4 and it's equivalent to 90 grand per annum, right? It's ridiculous. 3.6 million pounds, and that's half what it's likely to make you. In likelihood, it's going to make you 7.2 million, right? If that hasn't blown your brains, I don't know what will. You have to either find the money, if you haven't got it already, or take the money you already have, and you've got to find one of these holiday lets and buy it. Set it up properly, and it's going to make you 7.2 million pounds over the next 40 years. I really hope this is landing. It's crazy. I haven't even factored in the refinance yet, have I? Because as it goes up in value, you refinance it. First of all, you get your money back out that you put into a deal. So that's an infinite return. And then you can buy another. and then you've got 2 going up, and you refinance them both back out, and you can buy another. Generally, over a 10-year period, if you start with 1 holiday let, you'll have 3 in 10 years, just without putting any more money in. Then you'll have 9 10 years after that, then 27 10 years after that, 81 10 years after that. So the fact that you got 1 now, let's half that, and it's still going to be 40 in 40 years. Let's half it again, it's 20 holiday lets in 40 years. The fact that you bothered to get 1 now will set you up for 20 lots of £7.2 million. That's £140 million. Right, let's half that again. It's £70 million. I've halved things 3, 4, 5 times. Find 1 holiday let, follow the model, and you'll make 70 million quid. It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing when you start to understand these numbers. Now, I don't need to overly understand the detail of the numbers, although understanding is great for you. And if you're looking to do for a JV partner to attract into this, this just kills it. You show them these numbers, especially if you're offering a 50-50 joint venture, they're going to throw the money at you, provided you learn how to cover it with them. That's how to cover it with them in this video. You've got this video now. You can go back to it over and over again. I hope this lands and shows you where the money is in holiday lets. If this is helpful, then please like and share. Don't forget to subscribe.